Hey guys, Youpes here coming with another video, and this one is going to be about a beginner guide for Malefic Grasp. The reason I'm making this video is because a lot of people have been not struggling with Malefic Grasp, but I see a lot of people making mistakes on logs, a lot of people asking me a lot of questions, and I wanted to come together to answer these today because I feel like they're fairly basic things about the spec that I could cover very easily and really help a lot of people that are new to the aspect of Malefic Grasp and really looking for like a quick and easy way of how to play this build real dirty. So the way that this build works is much different than the Soul Effigy build because you're not so worried about dots, you're more worried about drain souling and maintaining UAs, which is a totally different aspect than maintaining 100% uptime on dots. Now, the build that I will recommend people that are beginners to play is going to be Malefic Grasp, Absolute Corruption, Siphon Life, Grimoire of Supremacy, and Soul Conduit. Now, even though Contagion sims 3% higher, it's a lot harder to play. So if you either have one, a bunch of corruption relics, or two, just want an easier time on single target, you don't want to be thinking about as much while you're dealing with mechanics and you're new to the build and just starting to get a feel for it, which a lot of people will in the first week, you know what I mean? It's the first week this build is out live, people are still practicing, still getting used to the build. Absolute Corruption is going to make it easier for you, why not use it, get used to the build, and then switch to Contagion later when you're more comfortable. It's only a 3% DPS loss, it's not going to make or break a fight. So the way that you play this build is to start off, all you do is you get your 3 dots on the target, okay? So once you have your 3 dots on the target, you're ready to go, okay? Like this, you're set, you're done all your prep that you need to do the maximum damage that you're going to do. So let's imagine you get your 3 dots on the target. All you do is you UA twice, reap, and then drain. And you just keep this up for the entire fight, okay? You just drain, make sure you're draining twice so your UAs are all affected by the drain soul. And then when your dots are, kind of close to falling off, refresh Agony, Siphon, and then just UA twice again, reap, and then drain. And just keep going like this for, until the cows come home. Now, there are a few situations where, you want to be draining for longer than others, and that's when you get a Fatal Echo proc or something like that. So I do want to go into that, but do not worry about refreshing your Agony early. I really want to emphasize that, okay? You are going to be refreshing your Agony a little bit early playing this way, but that's okay. It's not a huge DPS loss to be refreshing your Agony outside of Pandemic Timer, okay? So here, I could, use a life tap, refresh Agony a bit early, and then refresh Siphon Life. And the reason I'm refreshing Siphon Life last is because Agony just tends to last a little bit longer than, shorter time than Agony lasts. Siphon Life is a shorter dot, so you want to make sure you're refreshing that last so it has the maximum duration while you're draining, right? Because you save that global cooldown of having to spend Agony and then draining. So you just keep this going, okay? Now, there's a few questions that's going to happen to most Warlocks when they do this build, and it's going to be, well, if there is a Reap Soul question, just basically use them on cooldown, use them as soon as you press your UAs, just reap no matter how many stacks you have. But it's going to come down to Fatal Echo procs, what happens if I'm dotting, right? Okay, you do your 2 UAs, imagine I did 2 UAs here, okay? You wait a little bit, and you get a Fatal Echo proc like this, okay? So you get a random UA on the target. What do? Okay? You just keep draining it. You have that extra time on your dots, and you just keep draining it. And then comes the question, okay, what if my Siphon Life falls off, and I have, half a duration of a UA left? Do I stop draining and refresh the Siphon Life? Or do I keep draining? And the answer is, you keep draining that UA that procced. You do want to refresh Agony, but you keep draining that UA that procced, and then after it's done proccing, you refresh your Agony, refresh your Siphon Life again, and go back into it, okay? Like this. So that's the way you want to be playing this build, the 2 UA, reap, drain. If you get a Fatal Echo proc, you keep draining it until, your Agony is about to fall, and then you refresh Agony, refresh Siphon Life, and keep going about your business. So this is the quick and easy way to play this spec. You're going to end up seeing yourself doing pretty good damage with this. Ignore this log. I was stop fighting and stuff like that. Don't pay attention to how much damage I'm doing. I would be able to do a lot more damage doing this method if I was focused and not stopping in between. But that's how you want to end up playing this build. So what if you're running Contagion? Warlocks that want to step it up a little bit and play Contagion, but still do it at a relatively, not maximum output level, but still just want to try it, want to mess around with it. You do the same sort of deal. You get your 3 dots out, you do 2 UAs and then drain, but the only thing is now you just have one more dot to worry about refreshing before you do your dumps again, and you always want to make sure you're refreshing Corruption last. So you do your 2 UAs and drain, and look, I got some Fatal Echo procs. I'm going to keep draining until my Agony, and then I refresh my Agony, but notice how I let my other 2 dots fall off, okay? I did make a mistake there, I refreshed Corruption last, but it's okay. And then I just keep draining it. make sure you're draining twice on each UA. Don't just drain once. It's a big mistake. You lose a lot of damage, okay? Refresh the Agony, refresh the Corruption, then refresh the, or sorry, Seven Life, and then refresh the Corruption. Corruption last, remember that? And then do the 2 and drain. Drain twice every time, okay? So that's how you play this build. Make sure you're reaping after every 2 UAs. I know I wasn't there for some of them, but I should be. Yeah, so that's how you play this build, quick and easy. There are some different things that you can do to maximize your DPS aside from that. I will go into more advanced topics later, but I really just wanted to get an easy, friendly guide for people out there who are new to this spec, new to this type of gameplay, maybe even new to Warlock, and figure out how to play this build. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all later.